Number 6 says to obtain an FHA insured loan, the buyers will have to pay a mortgage insurance premium or an MIP of 1.75 points, which will be financed into the loan. What will the amount of their loan? What will be the amount of their loan if FHA insures 96.5% of the appraised value and this property appraises for $210,000? The maximum loan of that FHA will insure in their area is $271,000. That it already qualifies for that since it says it appraised for $210,000. So we are trying to figure out what the amount of their loan will be. So we know that the appraised value is $210,000. So appraised value is $210,000, and their LTV is 96.5%. So 0.965. So their loan amount would be $202,650. But they are also going to include their mortgage insurance premium of 1.75 points into the loan. So we need to multiply this by the mortgage insurance premium, and the rate is 1.75, so 0.0175. We just made the percentage into a decimal so we could multiply. So their mortgage insurance premium would be $3,546.38. We need to add this back into the loan amount. So the loan amount was $202,650. We need to add in the mortgage insurance premium of $3,546.38. So their total loan amount would be $206,196.38. So your answer would be D. Number 7 says a couple earns a combined annual income of $96,400. They can get a 20-year, 90% conventional loan at 4.75% interest that will require monthly payments of $646 per $1,000 borrowed. A house they really like has annual taxes of $3,200 and can be insured for $1,500 per year. If the lender uses a 28-36 qualifying ratio and they have other debts, how much financing can they qualify for based only on the information provided in the question? Okay, so let's start with their annual income because their income drives how much they are actually approved for. So their annual or yearly income is $96,400. We need to figure out how much their monthly income is, though, because that is what drives their payment and how much they're qualified for. So we're going to divide this by 12 months. So their monthly income is $8,033.33. Okay, and it says the qualifying ratio that they're using is 28% for PITI. So we're going to multiply this by 0.28 to figure out what their monthly payment can be. When you do that, you get $2,249.33. This is what their monthly payment can be. Okay, it says, so we had to figure out how much the taxes and insurance are per year. So we already know that the taxes are $3,200 a year, and their insurance is $1,500 a year. It's $4,700 per year. We need to divide this by 12 months to figure out how much it will add to their monthly payment. And when you do that, that is $391 $1.67. So we can take their total monthly payment and subtract out the taxes and insurance to see how much their principal and interest can be. So their monthly payment can be $2249.33. We're going to take away taxes and insurance of $391.67, and that will give us the monthly principal and interest, which is $1,857.66. We know that the monthly payment is $646 per thousand. So we are going to work this backwards to figure out the actual loan amount based on this. So if we take the principal and interest and divide it by the rate, which is $646 for every 1,000, or times 1,000, you'll get a loan amount of $287,563.47. So your answer would be D. Number 8 says, using this information, question 7, what is the maximum sales price that they can afford? So we know their loan amount from the previous was $287,563.47. We also know that their LTV, or their loan, was 90% of the value of the house. So we can divide this by the LTV of 90%, or 0.9, and it will give us the actual sales price, which is $319,514.97. So your answer is D. All right, number 9 says, if the couple in question 7 and 8 is required to pay 1.5 point origination fee, a 0.75 point PMI premium, and one discount point, plus another $2,860 in other closing costs, how much cash will they need to bring to closing if they have already deposited $10,000 worth of earnest money? Okay, so the origination fee and the discount point, everything goes off of the loan value, not the sales price, just the loan value. The down payment will go off of the sales price, but everything else, because all of these are loan charges, we go off of the amount of the loan. So we know that the loan amount is $287,563.47. So you can break it down and figure out each one of these costs, or you can just add up the points and then multiply by that. But we can break down each one to start with. So the first one that we are going to do is 1.5 point origination fee. Points are just 1%. So we can multiply this by 0.015, and that will give us a $4,313.45. This is the origination fee. 287,563.47. We're going to take the loan amount and multiply it again. They had a 0.75 PMI premium. So 0.75, we have to, that's a percentage, so we have to move the decimal over twice, so it's 0.0075. And that is $2,156.73. This is for PMI. And then now we just have a discount point. 563.47. This is the loan amount. It had one discount point, so we're going to multiply it by 0.01. And that gives us $2,875.67. This is a discount point. Okay, we also know that they had a, if the LTV, if they financed 90%, then that means their down payment was 10%. So, because 100 minus 90 is 10. So, 10% down payment. This is the only thing that goes off of actual sales price. So, the sales price was $319, $514, and 97 cents. We're going to multiply that by 10% or 0.1. And that gives us $31,951.50. This was their down payment. Okay, we also know that they had other closing costs of $2,860. So $2,860. This was in closing costs. So we can add this all together because all of this has to be paid at closing. So these are all closing fees. When you do that, you get $44,157.35. But it said that they had earnest money of $10,000. So they're going to get a credit of $10,000 because they've already paid that. So we can take away the $10,000 of earnest money, and that leaves $34,157.35. We are a little off because I did not add the discount points, but we are close enough that you can find the answer. The answer is B. See, it has 31 cents. We have 35, but we are close enough to keep it. So your answer is B. Number 10 says, if a prospective buyer has an annual gross income of $48,000, how much monthly PITI payment can the buyer qualify for if the lender is using 29-41 qualifying ratios? Remember, if we are worried about their PITI, their payment with principal and interest, taxes, and insurance, that is the front number. That's his first number. So their annual income is $48,000. Let's say yearly. I think that's what I've been doing. Yearly income is $48,000. We need to find out what their monthly income is. So we're going to divide this by 12 months. And when you do that, their monthly income is $4,000. All right, and it said the lender uses 29 as their percentage to qualify for PITI. So we need to multiply this by 0.29 or 29%. And that means that the lender will allow their mortgage payment to be $1,160. So your answer is A.